realtor called me. Someone called me and said, oh yeah, the seller's realtor is going to put a mechanics lien on this house, so it's not going to close. And I was like, why? Why are you going to put a mechanics lien? And the realtor was like, oh, I verbally agreed with the seller to do all the renovations out of my own pocket. So she had put $60,000 of her own money into this renovation, into the remodeling of this house, and it's coming to closing, and the seller was refusing to pay her any of the money that she had put into this property. And
bad seller.
I did not tell my cousin. I was like, oh my goodness, like we just got to work this out. Like I was like, this is like too much.
How'd you guys work it out? How'd you negotiate it?
I don't think I had anything to do with it. I just remember that like the very last minute, the title company was helping the seller's realtor negotiate with the seller.
Yeah.
And so the seller agreed to like reimburse her like
pay out of proceeds.
Yeah, reimburse her like $40K out of the 60 or something like that, or $45K. I don't know. It was something like
it was a deal made.
And so it was able to close. And as we were closing it at the closing table, the title company, the escrow officer, she went, hey, to my cousin, she went, you almost didn't get this house. And she was like, what? And so I was like, well, it closed. You guys got the house.
You know what? That's a great point. As a realtor, you're the in-between person. And so you absorb as much as you can so that your seller or your buyer doesn't freak out in that process.
Right.
It's such a nerve-wracking experience to buy or sell, right? Because it's a deal. It's one of the biggest deals anybody will do. The average person in life, one of the biggest deals they'll ever make, purchases, is a home. And it's the biggest contract it might be part of. And so it's very stressful.
It is very stressful.
Right?
Yeah. Residential, I always find and I've done residential, I've done commercial. I have my own property management company. I have walked off-market deals all the time. So I've done
wholesale deals.
I've done almost every aspect of real estate you could possibly imagine, or I know people who have. And
how long have you been in it now?
I've been in it for 2 years.
What'd you do your first year?
2.5 million total closed.
In your first year?
Yeah, my first
wow,
year.
That's a big commission check. What was your second year?
My second year, I'm still in it. I'm on track to close about 5 million estimated total sales.
The majority of that is residential or commercial?
The first year majority was residential. Mm-hmm. Second year is commercial.
What's the big difference for you and why? Why commercial?
For commercial, I think it honestly I think God just kind of opened the door for me to go into commercial. I originally was like, no way, commercial. Like, that seems like a lot.
Isn't that for just a bunch of old guys and gals? Commercial real estate?
I
always see these guys have been in it for years and years and years. I'm like, you must have gotten started when you were really young. And they hold the market. It's almost seemed like these commercial brokers, commercial agents, like they kind of like hedge the market, and it's hard to get in.
Right. Yeah.
To get into commercial business.
I think commercial is undeniably way more lucrative. I think it's less stressful because it's more business oriented. You're not really dealing with emotions. You're more dealing with facts, logics, numbers. If you crunch the numbers and the deal works, then it works.
Yeah, that's good. Well said.
And because it's so lucrative and because it's considered a more exclusive market, I mean, even the CCIM, you need to have, it's a way more rigorous process to get your CCIM certification.
What is that?
It's just like it's like Commercial Institute or something like that. It's some sort of acronym, but it just means that you have like a lot of experience. Like Richard Harmon and Steve Barber, they have their CCIM, and it's really hard to get.
Yes.
Because you have to go through schooling, you have to have like all these hours, you have to take a really rigorous test, and it's like all this stuff.
Yes.
And also, once people have the market share, they don't want to tell anybody else their knowledge
of how easy it is. Or how tricky it is. What?
I think more
because think about
more
it.
teaching them how to do it. Like,
commercial is relationships. Right. Residential is relationships.
Right. And so it's a bigger relationship.
It's a bigger relationship because it's business. It's not personal. It's more business. Right. So you're stepping into. You found that it's much more lucrative, and I'm hearing you say it was less stressful.
Yeah, it was less stressful. I think.
Because the human element, there wasn't as much stress on the. It's less impersonal. Is that what you said? It's more impersonal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do think that residential, like I still work in residential, and I do think while it is more stressful, it is more rewarding in many ways. Like in the human aspects, like the example, I think that, I mean, in any aspect of your ministry, of your work, you have the opportunity to do ministry.
Yes.
Like, example, one time I was referred this lady, and so I drove all the way out to Bishop, like 45 minutes to go do this listing appointment. This lady had just lost her husband, like, she didn't know what to do. She wasn't on any of the bank statements, so she couldn't access any of the money to pay the mortgage. The bank was going to foreclose on her.
Husbands, put your wives on your bank accounts.
Yes, put your at least as like
a signer.
Yes,
that's important.
At least as a signer.
Great point.
Because this lady, her husband died suddenly.
All that money gets locked up. You got to wait till courts clear the money.
Right,
yeah,
and
it's
so
crazy.
I was in this house with her, and she was a Christian, but she was just like lost. She had no family or anything, and so I just prayed with her and like encouraged her. And with the lady who referred me to her, we were helping her go through probate and helping her like call our bank and say, "Bank, don't foreclose on me. The will's through probate. I would like to pay this, but I can't because I can't access the bank accounts." And
wow,
well,
that's scary.
Yeah, it was really scary. And we did not get the listing. I was going out of town. There just was like some issues. She was really emotional and just like it was just a hard thing.
Yeah.
And while I didn't get the listing, I was like, it was still worth it to make that drive and just minister to her and pray with her and like help her in that moment. And I think that makes it all worth it, just because you get to have that, or get to help people who've just had a baby get into a house and like get into a good spot. And it's just, I think that like the relationships I have built with people.
I think you've babysat.
Yeah,
for some of your customers.
I have babysat. Yeah,
right. You've done a lot. You've gone out of your way to, just because, like you said, it's relationships.